everyone, I'm Chef Susie with Escoffier Online. Welcome to our live session. Today we're going to be making a very simple cookie, and these cookies are called diamonds. And the reason that I wanted to introduce you to this cookie is it's super easy to make. It's easy to produce, and it's great to make for your friends and family. But if you do own a bakery someday, I definitely recommend this because you're going to be using the one-stage method, and these cookies, you can easily do a variation on them. So they're quick and easy to produce, and there's very few ingredients with this. So very cost-effective cookie, tastes delicious too, and they look really nice as well. So knowing all that, let's get started. So I mentioned the one-stage method, and this method you use in yeast production for breads is where you put all of the ingredients in the bowl at once and mix it up. And you also do this for cakes and cookies too. So remember the one-stage method. It's whenever I think of the one-stage method, I always think of simplicity. So I'm just going to be putting all the ingredients in the bowl at the same time. We're going to mix it up, and then I'm going to make up the cookies and give you a few ideas, and you'll see how quick these are, and they look nice as well. So I've got some cake flour. And for cake flour, I do recommend soft as silk cake flour. It's my favorite cake flour. It just seems a little moist to me, and it's what I always use. But you can use, whichever kind you like. I just wanted to let you know that's my preference, and it's reasonably priced as well. Okay, so I've got some cake flour. I had a little sugar, a little bit of salt in there. I've got powdered sugar, and we have butter. And these are our main ingredients. There's not a leavener in here. There aren't any eggs in here. Super easy to make. We're going to be adding some extract. I'm going to let that go a little bit and then add the extract. I'm going to be using a little bit of vanilla, but almond is nice with this as well. You could even add some orange zest, some lemon zest. Pretty much the flavors are limitless with this. It's a very simple dough. So I'm just going to be turning this on. It's going to get crumbly, kind of to that rough cornmeal stage, and then it's just going to come together as a dough. So once it comes together a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add the vanilla, and please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, it just takes a few minutes, and then that's it. It's super easy to make. And like I said, this is something that an entry-level employee could make this mixture for you. It's just really weighing, putting it in the bowl. There's no creamy method. It's just a one-stage method. Everything goes in and then it's done. For cost effectiveness, you could even substitute half shortening and half butter. And some people use all shortening, and I think the butter just adds a lot of flavor. So I recommend, to cut down on cost, you can go half and half for sure. And please let me know if you have any questions. But you're going to like this. These cookies are nice. And it takes a little bit to come together. I didn't want to turn the mixer on too high because then flour, sugar everywhere, right? Be sure you're using the powdered sugar in this. It works best, and also you're using cake flour. The cake flour is lower in gluten, and it's going to give you a little bit more delicate cookie. Okay, this will be coming together in just a little bit here. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of vanilla. I add about a teaspoon, but when I add vanilla, I just usually pour it in here a little bit. And like I said, the almond is nice as well. Okay, so it's coming together. It's going to be a cookie dough very soon. And we'll go ahead and make up the cookie and see how easy it is. Okay, so the dough looks perfect. Don't overmix this. You don't want to work this gluten at all. Even though your cake flour is low in gluten, it's more delicate. You don't want to mix this too much. This dough is very easy to handle, as you can see. It's not too sticky at all. And we are going to be ready to make up our cookies here in just a minute. And please let me know if you have any questions. So like I said, you could do a variety of flavors with this. It's really limitless. I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on. and we're going to be forming some rolls. Okay, like I said, this is super easy to make, and it's quick as well. Okay, so this is just a real nice dough, easy to handle. And the way it kind of mixes, you don't really have to scrape down the bowl. It just kind of all works together on its own. Okay, so you can use the dough just like this. But with this size batch, I like to make a couple different flavors. So I'll make a vanilla, and I'll make a chocolate, and I'll make just some pink ones too. But what you can do is you can substitute a little bit of the flour in the recipe with a little bit of cocoa powder, and that's how you can make your chocolate. And you can also just add some coloring to add some different contrast. And I like to use a little bit of pink coloring, and sometimes my pink ones, I'll make them almond flavor. Keep in mind these are great for the holidays too. Okay, so next we're going to make some logs here. So I usually make my logs about 1 3/4 inches, and these are going to go in the refrigerator set up. What you want to be careful is that you don't have any air pockets in these logs. You can kind of feel them a little bit, but you're going to want to just be careful that you don't have any. So the logs are going to go in the refrigerator. Then we're going to let them cool really well, and then we're going to slice them, and that'll be our diamonds. So see how easy these are? Okay. All right, so we have 2 vanilla logs. So let's go ahead and color this one. I want to show you how easy this is. And like I said, you can go ahead, you can make chocolate by adding a little bit of cocoa powder with your flour. Maybe for a recipe this size, I would maybe take about, got a little red on our board. I would maybe take about 1/4 cup of the flour out and add cocoa powder. And you can also fold in a little bit of cocoa powder to the dough after you make it if you wanted to do something like this with the 3 different logs. But be careful that you're not putting too much in there. So we're just going to make a nice pink color. You can do, you know, the colors are limitless with this. And I like to make my, my pink one almond flavored too, so that's a thought. So once the logs are chilled, we'll be finishing these and cutting them, and then we'll have our diamond cookies. So they're super easy to make. Okay. Okay, so we have some nice pink dough. And this is going to be our pink log. Okay, so you can easily store these in the refrigerator or the freezer until you're ready to use them. Let's go ahead and wrap them with a little plastic, and then we're going to finish off some logs that I made earlier that I have in the refrigerator. Okay, and please let me know if you have any questions. And with these logs and these cookies, you can, like I said, these are about 1 3/4 inches. You can make them just a little bit bigger, or you can make them smaller. So the sizes are a little limitless. Okay, see I'm wrapping these. They're ready to go in the refrigerator. What you're going to want to do, because you're going to be cutting these, you want this to set up. So you're going to refrigerate this for about 30 minutes. And you can store them in the refrigerator and just pull them out when you need them, and they freeze well too. Okay, so let's set these aside. Let's go ahead and take a look at the logs that I made earlier. Okay. So I've got some pink, some vanilla, and some chocolate. So this is a nice flavor combination. And what I did too is my scrap, I'll make one little log with this, and then I just cut them and it's kind of randomized. So save your scrap and you'll make some cool little logs with these. Let's go ahead and put on our gloves. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is you kind of want to roll the exterior. You don't have to do this. We're going to be rolling this in some sprinkles. We're going to be rolling it in maybe some nonpareils and maybe some sugar. And if these aren't sticking, you can go ahead and brush your log with a little bit of water. But what I usually do first is I see if I can get them to stick. So let's go ahead, and maybe the pink log, we're going to finish this with some of these nonpareils. These have a tendency to kind of go everywhere, and they get a little staticky too. So let's try them in the dish first before I actually put them on the counter. Okay, and like I said, if these aren't sticking for you, you can go ahead and brush the log with a little bit of water, but it seems like it's going okay. So we're going to finish all of our logs, and then we'll go ahead and cut them. Then they're going to go on a tray, and they're going to be going in the oven. And please let me know, please let me know if you have any questions. Just kind of pressing and rolling. And kind of press it on a little bit. Like I said, I kind of try to stay away from using water if I have to. I think it just gets a little bit sticky. But if you really need to, you can brush them with water. Okay, so this one looks nice. We're going to go ahead and set that aside. And I think that we're going to stick with our dish here. So what we'll do is we'll empty it along the way. And please let me know if you've got any questions. Okay, let's go ahead and finish the chocolate one. How about if we do the chocolate one with some chocolate sprinkles? Some nice dark chocolate sprinkles. And it seems like it's sticking pretty good. We'll go over this a few times. You can do this right on the parchment, right on your board too. But like I said, with those nonpareils, they kind of go everywhere, even a little messier than what I did. And please let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so this is looking good. While you're doing this rolling, if you have a flat side, you're going to try to roll that out a little bit. And sometimes it's just a little hard to get away from that flat side, especially when you're cutting, but just be mindful of that so you have some nice round logs. Okay, so the vanilla, we're going to roll that in. You can roll it in some regular sugar, or you can roll it in some coarse sugar. You could roll it in colored sugars are nice too. So these are kind of fun, and the varieties that you can make with these are really limitless. So I've got some coarse sugar. Let's see if I've got enough to roll my log. Otherwise, granulated sugar works fine too. And these sugars and the sprinkles and the nonpareils are sticking just fine to the dough, which is perfect. So we just pulled it out of the refrigerator. It's nice and chilled. You can see it's nice and hard. And then we're just going to do our little scrap one. These are fun because you never know what they're going to look like. They're different all the time. So just go ahead and press the scrap, those ends together, and make a log, and you'll have a nice variety on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and cut some of our logs. And please let me know if you have any questions. We have a question.
Can you roll in candies?
The question is, can you roll in candies? You can. It really depends on what you're using, but I would say definitely try it. And maybe some candy canes. But you're going to want to be mindful whatever you're rolling in is going to be going in the oven. So if it's something that's going to melt, you might want to reconsider it. But what I say, go ahead and try it and see how it works for you, for sure. So you can do a lot of pretty things. These are great for the holidays too. So let's go ahead and cut some of our logs. So you're going to put these on a baking sheet, and I do recommend using parchment or a silpat. You can use a grease tray, but you're going to get a lot more spread. You're going to get sooner browning on the bottom. So I recommend parchment, like I said, or even a silpat. Okay, so we are going to cut these maybe about 1/3 of an inch thick. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to trim off my ends. Save your ends for your scrap piece. And maybe about 1/3 of an inch thick. And like I said, the sizes, you can do some variations. This is just kind of a basic size that I'm making. I try not to make mine too thick. These are going to spread, but they're not going to spread a lot. They're going to keep their nice round shape, but they are going to spread. So the thicker that you make your cookie, the more spread that you're going to have. Okay. So these are the diamond cookies. So we're going to go ahead and put these on the tray. Keep in mind that these cookies, the chocolate and the vanilla and the pink cookies, they all bake together just fine. So you'll be okay putting them all on the same tray. And I'm staggering these. And it's going to give me a little bit more room on my tray. But you need some room for these to spread. They are going to spread. Not too much, but they are going to spread. Okay. So what I usually do is I'll cut the white ones or the vanilla ones first, and I'll move to the pink, and I usually do the chocolate last so I don't get chocolate crumbs in my other dough. Let's go ahead and cut a few of these. Same way. See how easy these cut? These are nice and chilled in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. Like I said, they store really well in the freezer too. So we're just going to do a few of these so I can go ahead and show you the other types. I'm going to put that one aside. And they cut nicely. And so we have produced several different kinds of cookies here rather quickly using the same dough. So keep this in mind, even if you're just making these at home. If you have a bakery, these are a nice variety. You can put different extracts. You can put grated lemon, grated orange, both really nice. So these are the chocolate ones. So they look great. And if you've got some of those square edges, you can kind of pinch them out a little bit. So the chocolates look beautiful too. Like I said, you can bake these all on the same tray. Let's go ahead and take a look at our scrap piece. So this is usually the last one I do. And I just find the scrap ones fun. So I always make them. You can sell them or you can eat them yourself. Let's see what we have with our scrap dough today. Okay, so we've got a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of vanilla. We have a little bit of nice Neapolitan. And we've got our pink is mostly on our outside. You can kind of mix this in a little bit more with your scrap pieces, but definitely save those scraps and bake them. See how nice they look. Let's go ahead and leave a little room on our tray for a nice scrap one. Okay, let's go ahead and set all of this aside. And then we're going to talk about baking the diamonds. Okay. So we have plenty of room for these to spread. I staggered these. We're going to be baking these at about 325 degrees. If you decide to go with a larger cookie, you're going to want to keep an eye on them, and they're going to take a little bit longer. So you're going to bake these about 325 for about 20 minutes. Be careful that you're not baking on too low of a rack on your oven because the bottoms can get brown very quickly. So bake them in the middle shelf or even higher. If you have a problem with your cookies or any of your baked goods getting too brown on the bottom first, that means they need to be moved up in the oven if your heat source is in the bottom. So go ahead and bake these for about 20 minutes. Keep an eye on them. I say 18 to 22 minutes. They're typically done at 20. And let's go ahead and take a look at the diamonds that I made earlier. So here they are. They look super beautiful. They don't get a lot of color to them. These cookies, they just get a little bit golden brown on the outside. And let's go ahead and take a look at the bottom so you know how they should look. They get nice and golden brown on the bottom. This is a nice crisp cookie. It's not really soft on the inside, but it's not too hard. And they look beautiful plated together. And they also look very pretty in a display case in a bakery. You'll be sure to please your friends and family and your customers with your diamond cookies. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. And please try the diamond cookies in different flavors, and you can do different sizes too. You can go a little bit larger and a little bit smaller too. So we'll see you next time. Goodbye.